People that are close to us sometimes act as our sounding boards, okay? Like, I run a lot of ideas by my wife, a lot of them, okay? A lot of them, just as a sounding board, because sometimes in the process of just sharing, in the process of venting what you're thinking about an issue, even you gain clarity just in sharing, okay, what's going on. So some people are there like that. They can be sounding boards. And then we have professional colleagues or business colleagues. Sometimes that can be very helpful to us. Sometimes, I mean, it's just a matter of, it's the job, okay? You're in the same organization, you're working towards the same objectives. Let's say you are head of a department or unit, the other person is head of a department or unit, and you just need to collaborate to get the job done. So sometimes, simply because you're in the same organization working towards the same objectives, you just want some other opinion, you want some other perspective to the decision you want to make. That helps a lot. So a lot of the time we have professional colleagues that are sounding boards for us. In some scenarios, you have people in partnerships, okay? You have expertise in one area, this person has expertise in this other area, and you just find out already you're needing a lot of advice from the person in this area. Both of you may just find out a partnership will make a world of difference. It will help on both sides. So automatically, it means that you're combining your ideas to pursue your objectives. If the advice is going to be very useful to you, there's some posture or attitude that you need to have. But just before I get into that, let me touch on this. Highly successful people know the value of advice to the point where they're willing to pay for it, okay? Especially leaders that understand the value of quality decision making and the need to be able to solve problems effectively. People pay to have coaches, okay, that they can just call at short notice or send an email, and they can get advice from someone that does not have any vested interest in the technicalities of the issue or the decision to be made, okay? Impartial advice. See, advice is so important that some people pay for it. And I'm aware there are people that pay tens of thousands of dollars, some hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've even seen a scenario where a CEO pays $1 million a year just to have access to somebody's smarts, to have access to someone that has a lot of insight, okay, to give advice. You can buy books. You can buy audio messages, okay? When you buy a book, and you know the author has been very successful in an area, sincerely speaking, sometimes a book is almost like you're sitting one-on-one with someone to ask questions. They provide answers. Books provide answers, okay? I believe that we never pay the true value of a book when we buy a book. The true value of a book is beyond the ink and paper. I mean, somebody has 30 years experience, 40 years of professional experience, puts it in a book somewhere between 100 and 200 pages. Come on, the value of that experience is way beyond what was used to produce the book. And I say it will take only a wise person, only an insightful person to recognize that. There are books that I use as reference books in my library. The moment I bought them, read them, I knew this book is a reference book. This book is a book I will need to consult once in a while. And I have some of them books like that. And some, I just make sure I read once in like 2 or 3 years or once in 5 years. I read one recently like that, and it was just wow, 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 because I was finding answers to current situations that I'm going through. Okay, so we have to be willing, if we really, really value knowledge, value information, we have to be willing sometimes to actually invest in the process of getting advice. Yes, because sometimes such advices are game changers for us. Information is the key to transformation. This is important. Information is the key to transformation. And my mentor would say to me, to be informed is to be transformed. To be uninformed is to be deformed. Well, put simply, you just never rise beyond the quality of your knowledge. You don't rise beyond the quality of information available to you. So whatever it will take, we need to get the best advice possible. See, I've seen people go from pauper to millionaires, some to billionaires, just simply because they decided to move close to people, successful people, and to ask them questions and to take advice from them. If you seek for advice, then you have to be willing to take advice. Okay? You have to be open. You have to be someone that is open to getting advice, to getting feedback, honest feedback. Sometimes it's not easy, okay? Hearing what we call unpalatable news about yourself, but it helps at the end of the day. So we've got to be humble. We've emphasized that over and over and over again. We've got to be humble. We've got to be willing, okay? We've got to be willing to take the advice, to consider the advice, to process it, and to act on it, okay? When we have situations, where we need to make decisions, it's good for us to seek for advice as soon as possible. We should not allow situations and circumstances to deteriorate. We should not procrastinate, okay? We should not allow things to go from bad to worse, from worse to worst before we seek advice. Remember, some of the advice will come to us absolutely free. So it's just not worth the trouble. Like going through the failure, going through the hardships and so on, being slapped by life and by situations and circumstances before we go to seek for advice. Sometimes that's what we do last, okay? If you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. And it's not a crime to not know. They tell us that all of us are born with tabula rasa. Tabula rasa is clean slate. Every human being is born with a clean slate. And then our parents, families, society begins to write on that clean slate. Nobody was born with the complete body of knowledge in our world. So it's not a crime not to know. The important thing is, when we need to know, we need to be pragmatic enough to go look for the knowledge or the wisdom wherever it is and to get it. These days, I have a lot of people, I'm aware that we want advice, and sometimes maybe it's not easy to access the person that has the advice or so. I encourage these days, as information technology improves, that we leverage information technology, the phone call, the email, the Skype call, FaceTime, WhatsApp, and the rest of them, that we can leverage them to seek for the advice that we need. Also, I think just generally searching online, using search engines, it's amazing the volume of information that is available right now. I am aware that it's easier for us to read or watch entertainment, online. But I promise you there's a whole lot more online right now. That's a whole lot. I say to people humorously these days, you don't know what to do, ask Uncle Google. Google is the uncle now that you ask your questions. I had a situation recently. I needed some advice from a doctor about something, and I had gone online. I had done as much research as I could, and eventually when I saw the doctor, everything the doctor said was what I already knew. And I told the doctor, well, that's true, that's exactly what I read online. The doctor said, wonderful. You see, that's the challenge for us these days. Before patients come to us, they go online first, They go online first. The only thing is, don't rely entirely on Google, especially for your health issues. So that's my disclaimer. I'm not promising you that Uncle Google will accurately diagnose what the issue is with you. See your doctor. But I'm just simply saying that there's so much out there online that you could just simply research an issue and you get a little bit of advice. When we seek for advice, we should be honest enough to seek for people that will be honest with us. Listen, we're human, and we have a phenomenal capacity for self-deception. Sometimes we know we should ask. Sometimes we even know what the answer is going to be. And because the answer is not going to be sweet, we know who will tell us the bitter truth. And we have enough wisdom to avoid them and to approach the people that will tell us what we like to hear. Yep. I just described somebody's scenario there. But it's actually a temptation that happens to all of us. So we should be honest enough with ourselves to seek for advice where we're going to get the honest truth, even if the honest truth will not be comfortable. It will only save us from hardship. That's it. Just the way it is. Sometimes the prescriptions or medicines that doctors give us just don't taste sweet. Some of them are outright bitter. But the doctor knows it's that bitter thing that will take the pain away. So the doctor prescribes it anyhow. And when we are honest with ourselves, we swallow it. Because we want to get the pain out. There you are. Don't surround yourself with only yes men and women, with yes people, with people who will always agree with you because they don't want to hurt you. On the long run, it won't pay you. Surround yourself with people that will give you honest feedback. People that care enough about you to tell you the truth. And listen to them. Perhaps someone is watching this broadcast right now, and they may be family members, they may be friends, and somebody is saying something to you. Perhaps it's even resulted in a quarrel, resulted in a disagreement. Deep down in your soul, you know what they're saying is the truth. Okay, I'm on your side. So I agree sometimes the problem is not what they said, the problem is the way they said it. They said it with pride. Okay? Agreed. So while we recognize how it was said, the tone of voice, the attitude was wrong, sometimes that does not take away the validity of what was said. I believe, dear viewer, that from here on, the quality of advice available to you and the quality of decision making that you do is going to skyrocket. It's going to jump high, and I believe that there will be acceleration in your rate of success. Your capacity to succeed is expanding geometrically. You're going to have some amazing stories to tell very, very soon.